Have you ever felt drained after spending time with someone you call a friend? Maybe they always need something from you or downplay your successes. It's exhausting, right? It's as if instead of feeling supported and uplifted, you're left with a sense of emptiness. You might start questioning whether this friendship is truly healthy for you. Unfortunately, many people find themselves stuck in toxic friendships like this, relationships that leave them feeling worse about themselves rather than better. This scenario is more common than we might think, and it can have a significant impact on our emotional and mental well being. Friendships are among the most important relationships we form throughout our lives. Healthy friendships provide a sense of belonging, emotional support, and opportunities for personal growth. They serve as safe spaces where we can be ourselves without fear of judgment, celebrate our achievements, and lean on others during tough times. These relationships help shape our self worth and influence the way we view the world. Good friends encourage us to grow, challenge our perspectives, and celebrate our individuality. However, not all friendships are meant to last forever, and recognizing when a relationship turns toxic is crucial for maintaining a healthy mental state. Toxic friendships can come in many forms, but one thing they all have in common is their negative impact on our emotional health. They may leave us feeling anxious, insecure, or emotionally drained. Whether it's through constant criticism, manipulation, or selfish behavior, these relationships can undermine our confidence and hinder personal growth. It's important to realize that walking away from a toxic friendship doesn't mean you're giving up on people. It means you're prioritizing your own well being. The purpose of this article is to help you identify toxic patterns in friendships so that you can take control of your emotional health and create healthier, more fulfilling relationships. In the coming sections, we will explore 6 common toxic behaviors that you might encounter in friendships, such as the energy vampire friend, the jealous friend, and others. Understanding these behaviors is the first step in recognizing when a friendship may be doing more harm than good. By the end of this article, you'll not only have a better understanding of what to look for in a toxic friend, but also practical solutions to handle these situations with grace and confidence. Healthy friendships are a vital part of a balanced, fulfilling life, and it's never too late to set boundaries and seek out relationships that nurture you. Friendships are meant to be sources of support, joy, and growth. Yet, not all friendships are created equal. Some friendships, instead of nurturing and elevating us, leave us feeling drained, unsupported, and unappreciated. These are known as toxic friendships, and recognizing them is crucial for protecting our emotional well being. A toxic friendship is one where the balance of give and take is disrupted, often leaning heavily in one direction, typically to the detriment of one person. While positive friendships offer mutual care and respect, toxic friendships create a dynamic where one person's needs are consistently prioritized over the others, leading to feelings of exhaustion, resentment, and diminished self worth. Toxic friendships can often be subtle, making them hard to identify at first. Sometimes the signs are so gradual that they become normalized, leaving the person in the toxic friendship unaware of the toll it's taking on their emotional health. The first step to protecting yourself from such relationships is understanding what constitutes a toxic friendship and learning to recognize its telltale signs. There are various types of toxic friends, each exhibiting specific behaviors that can harm our emotional well being. Understanding these types can help you identify the negative patterns in your own friendships and determine the best course of action to handle them. One type of toxic friend is the energy vampire, a friend who drains you emotionally. They are often negative, and their focus on their own problems leaves little room for positive exchanges. Every conversation with them leaves you feeling mentally and emotionally depleted as they come to you for advice but rarely listen or make any changes. You may end up carrying the emotional weight of the relationship, which can lead to resentment and frustration. Handling this type of friend involves setting clear boundaries. Limit the time you spend with them and steer conversations away from their constant issues. Encourage them to seek professional help if needed, and remind them that a healthy friendship involves mutual support. If the behavior continues, it may be necessary to step back from the relationship entirely to preserve your emotional health. Another type of toxic friend is the jealous friend. These individuals are constantly comparing themselves to you and feel threatened by your success or happiness. They may make passive aggressive comments or downplay your achievements, often viewing your good fortune as something to compete with. Instead of celebrating your successes, they see them as a reminder of their own perceived shortcomings. This kind of behavior can chip away at your self esteem, making you feel bad about your accomplishments or guilty for enjoying your successes. To handle a jealous friend, approach them with understanding and honesty. Let them know how their behavior makes you feel and try to reassure them that their worth isn't tied to comparison. If the jealousy continues and the relationship starts to harm you, you may need to distance yourself from the friendship, as it may be based more on competition than true support. The one sided friend is another common toxic friend. In this relationship, one person is always the giver, while the other is the taker. The taker rarely makes an effort to check in on you or initiate plans, but expects your time, energy, and resources when they need them. This imbalance can leave you feeling unimportant and undervalued as you put more into the friendship than you receive. Over time, this dynamic can lead to feelings of resentment and frustration as the relationship becomes draining rather than fulfilling. Addressing this kind of friendship involves having a candid conversation. Express how you feel about the lack of reciprocity and encourage your friend to meet you halfway. If they are willing to change and make the effort to give back, the friendship might be worth saving. If not, it may be necessary to reassess the relationship and protect your own well being by limiting your time with them. The criticizing friend is another type of toxic relationship. This person often finds fault with everything you do, from your decisions to your appearance, under the guise of offering advice or constructive criticism. While some feedback is helpful, constant criticism can diminish your self confidence and leave you feeling inadequate. This friend may make you feel small or unworthy, and their critiques often overshadow your achievements or strengths. Handling a criticizing friend requires addressing the issue head on. Let them know how their constant criticism makes you feel and set clear boundaries about the type of feedback you're willing to accept. A healthy friendship should encourage personal growth, not tear you down. If the criticism continues despite your efforts to communicate, it may be best to distance yourself from the friend and seek relationships that uplift you rather than diminish your sense of self. Another type of toxic friend is the drama addicted friend. This individual thrives on chaos and constantly stirs up conflict, whether in their own life or in yours. They may create unnecessary drama or exaggerate problems, making their life seem more turbulent or exciting than it actually is. This friend may draw you into their emotional storms, forcing you to take sides or get involved in conflicts that have nothing to do with you. Over time, you may feel emotionally exhausted as you're caught in a constant whirlwind of their drama. To handle this type of friend, try to stay grounded and avoid getting sucked into their emotional chaos. Let them know that you're not interested in participating in the drama and suggest they find healthier ways to cope with their emotions. If their behavior doesn't change, it may be time to take a step back and prioritize your peace of mind over the drama they bring into your life. The user friend is another toxic type. This person is only interested in what they can gain from you, whether that's your time, resources, or social connections. They may approach you with requests for favors, but rarely offer anything in return. They may seem friendly at first, but their interest in the friendship is primarily based on what you can provide them. Over time, you may start to feel used as you realize that the relationship is unbalanced and built more on exploitation than genuine connection. To handle a user friend, it's important to set firm boundaries. Be clear about what you're willing to do and don't allow them to take advantage of your time or resources. If they continue to use you without offering anything in return, it may be time to distance yourself and seek out relationships that are mutually respectful and supportive. Recognizing toxic friendship patterns is the first step in protecting your emotional health and ensuring that your relationships are healthy, supportive, and fulfilling. By understanding the different types of toxic friends, you can better navigate your social circle and make informed decisions about the relationships that truly serve your well being. Healthy friendships should be a source of joy, encouragement, and mutual respect, and it's important to set boundaries with those who are no longer serving you in a positive way. The emotional vampire is a type of toxic friend who constantly leans on you for support but never reciprocates emotionally. They tend to drain your energy and focus, using your time to unload their problems while offering little in return. Imagine this scenario. You always have to pick up the phone when they need to vent, but when you're going through something difficult and could use a listening ear, they're suddenly too busy or unavailable. Over time, this one sided emotional dynamic leaves you feeling depleted and unappreciated. An emotional vampire's primary tactic is to consume your emotional resources without giving any back. They often reach out when they need comfort, advice, or someone to listen to their complaints, but their interactions with you lack any effort to understand or support your emotional needs. They might call you at all hours to share their latest drama, vent about their work problems, or talk about their personal struggles. They often expect you to solve their problems or offer endless emotional reassurance. However, when the tables are turned and you need to talk about your own struggles, they either dismiss your feelings or fail to offer the same level of support. This imbalance can make you feel like an emotional punching bag where they take all your energy but leave none in return. This pattern of behavior can be incredibly exhausting. After spending time with an emotional vampire, you may feel drained, empty, and even resentful. Their problems, while real to them, often become your burden, and the lack of gratitude or acknowledgement from them can make you feel like your own emotional needs aren't valid. You might find yourself resenting their constant demands on your time and energy, yet feeling guilty when you want to set boundaries because you don't want to appear unsupportive or selfish. The effect of an emotional vampire on your mental and emotional well being can be profound. These types of relationships can chip away at your sense of self worth, leaving you feeling like you exist solely to serve the other person's emotional needs. The lack of emotional reciprocity can also lead to feelings of loneliness as you realize that your friendship is more about them using you for their emotional comfort than about creating a balanced, mutually supportive relationship. Over time, this can even lead to feelings of burnout, where you feel like you've given all of your emotional energy to others without receiving any care in return. Handling an emotional vampire requires setting firm, clear boundaries. One of the most effective ways to manage this type of friendship is to limit your emotional availability. You don't need to be available to them every time they need to vent or talk about their problems. You can still offer support and be there for them, but you need to establish limits on when and how much emotional energy you can give. For example, you can say something like, I need to focus on my well being, so I can't always be available when you need to vent. I'm happy to listen at certain times, but I also need to prioritize my own needs. This helps to create a healthy boundary while also ensuring that you're not neglecting your own emotional needs. It's also crucial to communicate directly and honestly about the imbalance in the friendship. Let the person know how their behavior is affecting you, but be gentle and clear about it. You could say, I value our friendship, but I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed by the amount of emotional support I've been giving. I need to take care of myself too. This opens up the conversation for the other person to reflect on their behavior and may help them recognize the emotional toll they've been putting on you. In some cases, the emotional vampire might not even realize the extent to which they are draining you, and this conversation could lead to positive changes. However, if they react defensively or continue to disregard your boundaries, it may be a sign that the relationship is too toxic to continue in its current form. In that case, it might be necessary to consider stepping back from the friendship to protect your emotional well being. The key to handling an emotional vampire is to remember that your emotional health is just as important as theirs. It's okay to set boundaries, prioritize your needs, and even distance yourself if the friendship becomes too draining. A true friendship should be a source of mutual support, and if you're constantly giving without receiving, it's important to reassess the relationship and take steps to restore balance in your life. The gossip dealer is a type of toxic friend who thrives on drama and enjoys tearing others down through gossip. This person seems to always have the latest story about mutual friends, acquaintances, or even complete strangers. Every conversation seems to start with something like, Did you hear what happened to Sarah? Or, You won't believe what I just found out about Lisa. Their need to gossip isn't just a casual interest in people's lives, but rather a source of energy that feeds their sense of importance. They often revel in the drama and feel validated by sharing information that paints others in a negative light. This type of friend operates by using gossip as a way to feel connected and validated. They may gossip about others to gain attention or make themselves feel important, often relying on the drama to keep the conversation engaging. The more scandalous or salacious the information, the more they're drawn to it. They may feed off the energy created by speaking negatively about others, finding pleasure in the reactions they get from you when they reveal juicy tidbits about people you know. However, this behavior often doesn't stop at your mutual friends. It extends to you as well. Behind your back, they're likely gossiping about you, which can undermine your trust and create a sense of unease in the friendship. The effects of having a gossip dealer in your life are significant. One of the most immediate consequences is the erosion of trust. When this friend is constantly speaking poorly of others, it's natural to wonder what they say about you when you're not around. This can lead to feelings of insecurity and doubt in the friendship. If they are so eager to gossip about others, it's hard not to feel like the same behavior is directed at you when you're not there to defend yourself. Over time, this behavior fosters a toxic environment where no one feels safe or comfortable. Gossip breeds mistrust and can make you question the authenticity of your connections. The more you hear about how they talk about other people, the more you realize that they may not be as loyal or trustworthy as you thought. The constant flow of gossip also affects the overall dynamic of your friendship. It becomes difficult to have honest, meaningful conversations when your friend seems more interested in spreading rumors or talking behind people's backs. This behavior can make you feel uncomfortable, and over time, you may begin to distance yourself from them as you realize that the relationship is based more on negativity than mutual respect or trust. It may also leave you feeling guilty, as though you are complicit in this unhealthy behavior by engaging in it. To handle a gossip dealer, the most important thing is not to engage in gossip yourself. When they bring up someone else's personal business, resist the urge to participate in the conversation or add your own commentary. Instead, gently steer the conversation in another direction. You might say something like, "I'm not really comfortable discussing other people behind their backs. Let's talk about something else." This sets a clear boundary and helps shut down the gossip without causing unnecessary conflict. If the gossiping persists, you can be even more direct by telling them, "I prefer not to gossip about others. It's not something I enjoy, and it doesn't contribute to healthy relationships." Additionally, it's important to be mindful of your own privacy. If you're aware that your friend tends to gossip, limit the personal information you share with them. The less ammunition they have to talk about you behind your back, the better. By protecting your own boundaries and not sharing sensitive information, you take control over what others might be saying about you. Keeping the friendship focused on positive, non gossip centered topics can help steer the relationship away from negativity and ensure that the conversation remains respectful. In some cases, a gossip dealer may not realize the harm they are causing, and your honesty might help them reflect on their behavior. However, if they continue to engage in harmful gossip and show no interest in changing, it might be time to reconsider the friendship. Gossip not only damages the trust between individuals, but also creates a toxic atmosphere that can negatively impact your emotional well being. It's essential to surround yourself with friends who value honesty, loyalty, and respect, rather than ones who thrive on negativity and drama. The key to handling an emotional vampire is to remember that your emotional health is just as important as theirs. It's okay to set boundaries, prioritize your needs, and even distance yourself if the friendship becomes too draining. A true friendship should be a source of mutual support, and if you're constantly giving without receiving, it's important to reassess the relationship and take steps to restore balance in your life. The gossip dealer is a type of toxic friend who thrives on drama and enjoys tearing others down through gossip. This person seems to always have the latest story about mutual friends, acquaintances, or even complete strangers. Every conversation seems to start with something like, "Did you hear what happened to Sarah?" Or, "You won't believe what I just found out about Lisa." Their need to gossip isn't just a casual interest in people's lives, but rather a source of energy that feeds their sense of importance. They often revel in the drama and feel validated by sharing information that paints others in a negative light. This type of friend operates by using gossip as a way to feel connected and validated. They may gossip about others to gain attention or make themselves feel important, often relying on the drama to keep the conversation engaging. The more scandalous or salacious the information, the more they're drawn to it. They may feed off the energy created by speaking negatively about others, finding pleasure in the reactions they get from you when they reveal juicy tidbits about people you know. However, this behavior often doesn't stop at your mutual friends. It extends to you as well. Behind your back, they're likely gossiping about you, which can undermine your trust and create a sense of unease in the friendship. The effects of having a gossip dealer in your life are significant. One of the most immediate consequences is the erosion of trust. When this friend is constantly speaking poorly of others, it's natural to wonder what they say about you when you're not around. This can lead to feelings of insecurity and doubt in the friendship. If they are so eager to gossip about others, it's hard not to feel like the same behavior is directed at you when you're not there to defend yourself. Over time, this behavior fosters a toxic environment where no one feels safe or comfortable. Gossip breeds mistrust and can make you question the authenticity of your connections. The more you hear about how they talk about other people, the more you realize that they may not be as loyal or trustworthy as you thought. The constant flow of gossip also affects the overall dynamic of your friendship. It becomes difficult to have honest, meaningful conversations when your friend seems more interested in spreading rumors or talking behind people's backs. This behavior can make you feel uncomfortable, and over time, you may begin to distance yourself from them as you realize that the relationship is based more on negativity than mutual respect or trust. It may also leave you feeling guilty, as though you are complicit in this unhealthy behavior by engaging in it. To handle a gossip dealer, the most important thing is not to engage in gossip yourself. When they bring up someone else's personal business, resist the urge to participate in the conversation or add your own commentary. Instead, gently steer the conversation in another direction. You might say something like, "I'm not really comfortable discussing other people behind their backs. Let's talk about something else." This sets a clear boundary and helps shut down the gossip without causing unnecessary conflict. If the gossiping persists, you can be even more direct by telling them, "I prefer not to gossip about others. It's not something I enjoy, and it doesn't contribute to healthy relationships." Additionally, it's important to be mindful of your own privacy. If you're aware that your friend tends to gossip, limit the personal information you share with them. The less ammunition they have to talk about you behind your back, the better. By protecting your own boundaries and not sharing sensitive information, you take control over what others might be saying about you. Keeping the friendship focused on positive, non gossip centered topics can help steer the relationship away from negativity and ensure that the conversation remains respectful. In some cases, a gossip dealer may not realize the harm they are causing, and your honesty might help them reflect on their behavior. However, if they continue to engage in harmful gossip and show no interest in changing, it might be time to reconsider the friendship. Gossip not only damages the trust between individuals, but also creates a toxic atmosphere that can negatively impact your emotional well being. It's essential to surround yourself with friends who value honesty, loyalty, and respect rather than ones who thrive on negativity and drama. The disappearing act refers to a type of toxic friend who is always present during the good times, but vanishes when life gets tough for you. This person shows up for the celebrations, the parties, the fun moments, but when you go through something difficult, such as a breakup, personal loss, or a challenging time, they're nowhere to be found. They might have an excuse like, "I've been really busy," but their absence during your most vulnerable moments is too noticeable to ignore. They might not offer support or make an effort to be there for you when you need them most. And over time, you begin to realize that their friendship is conditional on everything going well in your life. This type of friend tends to show up during the easy times when everything is lighthearted and fun. They'll happily attend every party or social gathering, laughing and enjoying themselves. But when it's time to offer emotional support, they become distant. You might notice that they're absent when you're dealing with personal challenges. They might not return your calls, avoid responding to texts, or fail to offer even a simple gesture of support like checking in to see how you're doing. If you ask them about their absence, they might give vague excuses like, "I've been really busy lately," but it's clear that they aren't making an effort to show up when it matters. The behavior of a disappearing act friend can have a significant emotional impact on you. When you're going through a tough time and need the support of those closest to you, it's incredibly hurtful to feel abandoned. You might experience feelings of loneliness and isolation, realizing that the person you thought would be there for you isn't stepping up when you need them most. This can leave you questioning the authenticity of the friendship and feeling unsupported, especially if you're the one who's always there for them during their struggles. The imbalance in the friendship can lead to feelings of frustration as you start to wonder whether they only value the friendship when it benefits them or when things are easy. Over time, the disappearing act can cause resentment. You might start resenting them for not being there when it truly mattered, and this resentment can sour the entire friendship. It can also lead to self doubt, where you begin to question your own worth and whether you deserve better support. If this pattern continues, it can damage your emotional well being and leave you feeling like you're putting more effort into the friendship than the other person ever will. Handling a disappearing act friend requires recognizing the pattern of avoidance and making a conscious decision not to chase after them during your tough times. It's important to understand that someone who consistently avoids being there for you when life gets hard is not offering the unconditional support that a healthy friendship should. Instead of putting energy into trying to get their attention or making excuses for their behavior, focus on the friends who show up for you unconditionally, who are there when you need a shoulder to lean on, no questions asked. It's also important to communicate how their behavior is affecting you. You can gently but honestly address the situation by saying something like, I've noticed that you're often absent when I'm going through tough times. It's important to me to have friends who are there for me when things aren't going well. I need support just as much as I give it. This kind of conversation can help you express your feelings and give the other person a chance to reflect on their actions. Sometimes they may not even realize the impact of their behavior, and this conversation could open the door for change. However, if the disappearing act friend continues to avoid being there for you, despite your efforts to communicate your feelings, it may be time to reassess the friendship. A true friend should be present for both the good and the bad times, offering consistent support when you need it most. If they are only around when it's convenient for them, their role in your life may need to shift. It's essential to surround yourself with people who value you, not just for the good times, but also during the difficult moments. Healthy friendships are built on mutual support, and it's crucial to invest your energy in relationships where that support is reciprocated. The confidence underminer is a type of toxic friend who subtly chips away at your self esteem through backhanded compliments or critiques disguised as jokes. They may seem like they're offering a compliment, but their words often carry an underlying message of doubt or criticism. For example, they might say something like, That's great, but I'm sure it's easier for you because you're naturally talented, which seems like praise but actually dismisses the effort and hard work you put into your success. These types of remarks can make you question your abilities and start to doubt yourself, all while they hide behind the guise of humor or casual concern. How they operate is often through small, cutting remarks that might be hard to pinpoint at first. These comments can feel like a slow erosion of your confidence, and they're often done in a way that makes it difficult to directly confront them. They may downplay your achievements by focusing on something irrelevant like your appearance or your background to diminish what you've accomplished. For example, they might say, You're doing so well, but it's probably because you have such a good support system. By doing this, they make it seem like your success is not a result of your own talents or hard work, but of external factors that anyone could easily replicate. Or they might make comments about your flaws that seem trivial, but over time create self doubt. This behavior often stems from their own insecurities or jealousy, and they may disguise it as concern for your well being or as an attempt at humor. The effect of the confidence underminer on your emotional and mental well being can be profound. Over time, you may begin to second guess your own abilities and accomplishments. What starts as a casual remark can slowly grow into a more persistent feeling of inadequacy. You may find yourself doubting your achievements, wondering if they were as impressive as you initially thought, or if your friend was right about your natural talent. In professional or personal settings, this can cause a decrease in confidence, making you anxious about your decisions or how others perceive you. The constant undermining can leave you feeling insecure, especially if you begin to internalize their negative comments. This behavior can create significant anxiety, particularly in settings where confidence is crucial, such as the workplace. If the confidence underminer continuously downplays your achievements or focuses on your flaws, it can make you more self conscious and less willing to take risks or put yourself forward. You may start to shrink in certain situations, not because you lack the ability, but because you're constantly questioning yourself and your worth due to their subtle jabs. To handle a confidence underminer, it's essential to pay attention to how you feel after interactions with them. If you consistently leave conversations with them feeling deflated, insecure, or frustrated, it's a clear sign that their comments are affecting you. Recognizing these feelings is the first step in addressing the issue. Trust your instincts. If something feels off, it likely is. One of the most effective ways to handle this type of behavior is to not let their remarks carry weight. You don't have to accept their backhanded compliments or critiques as truth. If you feel comfortable, it's important to call them out directly on their behavior. A simple response like, "That comment felt a little off. What did you mean by it?" can put them on notice that their words are not as harmless as they may think. By addressing their comments directly, you give them the opportunity to reflect on their words and perhaps realize the impact of their behavior. Sometimes they may not even realize how damaging their words can be, and your response can be an opportunity for them to change. In cases where the underminer continues to make you feel bad about yourself, it might be necessary to distance yourself from the relationship. It's important to surround yourself with people who build you up rather than tear you down. Healthy friendships should provide encouragement, support, and validation, not leave you questioning your worth. If your confidence underminer refuses to change their behavior, it's crucial to prioritize your emotional health and seek out relationships that nurture your self esteem. The key is recognizing that their behavior reflects their own issues, not a reflection of your true worth. By calling out their behavior, setting boundaries, and protecting your self esteem, you can start to reclaim your confidence and prevent the underminer from continuing to affect your mental and emotional well being. The envious saboteur is a toxic friend who hides their jealousy behind subtle remarks and passive aggressive behavior when you achieve something great. While they may appear to offer congratulations, their words are often laced with resentment. For example, they might say, "Must be nice to have everything fall into place like that," which undercuts your success by implying that your achievements come easily or without effort. These types of remarks make it clear that they are not genuinely happy for your accomplishments, but instead they feel threatened or envious of your success. The way an envious saboteur operates is through subtle, undermining comments that downplay your achievements or make you feel like your success isn't as significant as it actually is. They might belittle what you've done, perhaps by saying things like, "That's great, but I'm sure there were a lot of other factors at play," or "Anyone could have done that if they had the same opportunities." Their goal is to make you doubt your achievements and feel as though they don't deserve the attention or praise you've received. Another tactic they might use is to gossip about your success to others, downplaying it in a way that makes it seem less impressive, or they might simply change the subject when you're sharing good news. This behavior can be frustrating because it often leaves you feeling unsupported or dismissed, especially when you're excited about something important in your life. The impact of the envious saboteur on you can be deeply discouraging. Over time, their passive aggressive behavior can make you start to feel guilty or uncomfortable about your accomplishments. Instead of feeling proud and excited, you may begin to second guess whether you truly deserve your success. If your friend constantly undermines your achievements or minimizes them, it can plant seeds of self doubt. You might start to question whether your successes are as meaningful as you thought or whether you're just lucky. Their jealousy can create an uncomfortable dynamic where you feel like you have to downplay or hide your successes in order to avoid making them feel bad, even though you have every right to celebrate your achievements. This can erode your confidence and prevent you from fully enjoying your wins, making you feel isolated in your accomplishments. In addition to questioning your own worth, the envious saboteur's behavior can create an emotional toll on your relationship. Over time, you might start to feel like you can't share your good news with them because you don't want to deal with their negativity or passive aggressive comments. Instead of being able to celebrate with a supportive friend, you end up feeling more alone in your success, which can be demoralizing. It's difficult to maintain a healthy friendship when there's a constant undercurrent of jealousy, and this dynamic can sour what might have once been an enjoyable and fulfilling relationship. Handling an envious saboteur requires recognizing the pattern of behavior and confronting it when necessary. If you notice that your friend consistently undermines your successes or makes you feel guilty about your achievements, it's important to address it directly. Don't let their passive aggressive remarks slide or allow them to make you feel uncomfortable about something you've earned. One way to approach the situation is by asking direct questions like, "Why does my success seem to bother you?" Or, "It feels like you're not happy for me. Can we talk about that?" These types of questions can open up a conversation about their jealousy and provide an opportunity for them to reflect on their behavior. It's also important not to diminish your own achievements in an attempt to soothe their envy. While it might feel easier to downplay your success to avoid conflict, doing so only reinforces the toxic dynamic and invalidates your own hard work. Instead, take pride in your accomplishments and don't let anyone's jealousy make you feel small. If your friend's envy continues to affect you, it may be necessary to set boundaries or even distance yourself from the relationship if it's no longer healthy. Ultimately, it's important to surround yourself with friends who genuinely support and celebrate your successes rather than ones who feel threatened by them. Healthy friendships are built on mutual respect and encouragement, not on jealousy or undermining behavior. If your friendship with an envious saboteur continues to leave you feeling unsupported or uncomfortable, it may be time to reevaluate the relationship and focus on cultivating connections with people who lift you up rather than bring you down. Throughout this discussion, we've explored 6 types of toxic friendships that can negatively impact your emotional well being. These include the emotional vampire who drains you without offering support in return, the gossip dealer who thrives on spreading negativity about others, the disappearing act who's only around when things are easy but vanishes during tough times, the confidence underminer who subtly erodes your self esteem through backhanded compliments or critiques disguised as jokes, and the envious saboteur who hides their jealousy behind passive aggressive remarks when you achieve something great. Each of these toxic behaviors can leave you feeling unsupported, drained, and questioning your own worth, making it crucial to recognize them in your own relationships. Recognizing these behaviors is the first step toward protecting your emotional health. By identifying toxic friendships, you can begin to set healthy boundaries and prioritize your peace. Setting boundaries is vital in any relationship, but it's especially important when dealing with toxic individuals. Boundaries help to protect your time, energy, and emotional well being, ensuring that your relationships remain mutually supportive and uplifting. When you allow unhealthy patterns to continue unchecked, it can lead to feelings of resentment, insecurity, and burnout. Establishing clear limits and communicating your needs can help maintain your personal peace and ensure that the people in your life contribute positively to your growth and happiness. Now, I encourage you to reflect on your own friendships. Take a moment to assess whether any of these toxic behaviors are present in your relationships. Are you constantly drained by someone who never gives back emotionally? Do you feel unsupported when life gets tough? Is there someone who diminishes your accomplishments or makes you feel guilty about your successes? Identifying these toxic dynamics is the first step toward taking action, whether that means addressing the issue directly with the person, distancing yourself, or letting go of unhealthy relationships altogether. Taking control of your emotional environment is essential for your well being. Remember, your time and energy are precious. Don't waste them on relationships that only drain you. Surround yourself with people who uplift you, encourage your growth, and respect your boundaries. You deserve to be surrounded by people who celebrate your wins, support you during struggles, and always lift you up. Protect your circle and ensure that your relationships are mutually fulfilling. At the end of the day, it's about prioritizing your own peace and happiness. By doing so, you'll create a network of supportive, positive friendships that will contribute to your personal growth and emotional well being.